How do you not hate yourself? I had to learn to give myself grace in a way that I give grace to others. Sometimes I just feel like a shell of an identity in a meat sack. I feel my identity is made up more of what others make of me, as opposed to what I think I portray. So why would what we think about ourselves be any more right? You don't have to start loving yourself, but you need to come to terms that this is life. Nobody is running around happy 100 of the time. As they say, happiness is not a destination. It's the drive, or whatever. The things that are good about yourself. What are you better at than other people? You might not know the answer to these things yet, but often just writing and keeping a journal helps you unpack that. Learn what you love in other people and benchmark yourself on those qualities. Ideally, a good mix of qualities: physical, intellectual, moral, emotional, cultural, etc. I feel better about myself when I know I'm getting better at something I value in my life. Probably self-efficacy. Set achievable goals. Break them into little pieces and achieve them. You'll respect yourself more. If you don't let yourself achieve, that's something to unpack in therapy. Why don't you think you're worth it? Find out what's getting in the way and get rid of it cold turkey. Join exercise classes like martial arts, good anger management, and good camaraderie, with lots of structure and incremental achievement of goals. Basically, before you like yourself, you have to respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, tackle that in therapy. For me, loving myself wasn't just about how I saw myself. It was also about how I saw everyone else. I was subconsciously comparing myself to others and putting them on pedestals. I'm not good enough really meant I'm not as good as them. But after a while, I started to look at people as, well, people. They have thoughts, problems, passions, and flaws like me. It helped me feel less alone to acknowledge that I'm not as unique as I felt. Working on knowing who you are and what your values are also helps in building an identity and a sense of integrity. Self-love is tough. I'm sure we've all been there. And remember that it's not reality. It's just a part of your thoughts, and it can't be trusted. Try and learn to love yourself as an ideal parent would unconditionally, just because you are you. It's not easy at all, and it'll take time. But try and build a new voice in your head, the kind voice of someone that loves you no matter what and constantly wishes only the best for you. I think a lot of these answers are missing the point. They read, how do you not hate yourself, and interpret it as, do I hate myself? This is a means for advice on how to not hate oneself, not a self-congratulatory pat on the back time. That said, I would suggest trying to get into something you like doing, or want to try doing. Work on it. Get good at it. Appreciate it. Hopefully, the fulfillment of these actions will help find that confidence in yourself, and then it will slowly seep into your other daily activities and mindset. Because at minimum, one of these applies to you. Your pets love and need you. You parents love you even if they don't know how to show it at times, unless they're abusive. Then ignore this one. Your friends love you online. God loves you. Speaking as someone who's experienced hate for religious people. Religion isn't God. It's people. God is God, and He loves us regardless of it all. You've made someone smile at some point in your life. You've been kind to someone, possibly even a stranger, and they're grateful for it. I give myself grace. Not too much, as I hyper-analyze nearly all of my behavior. But enough. I have learned to give myself grace in moments where I'm unhappy with something I've done or expressed. Live to do better another day and focus on growth instead of pity myself. I also try to remind myself that I don't always have to be exactly what someone wants me to be. Setting clear boundaries and making sure I'm comfortable with the roles I'm playing is another strategy I use to keep my self-esteem high and keep inner peace. By realizing you're the painter, not the painting, and do a fuck ton of mindfulness and CBT. Put the whip down, it serves no purpose. Give yourself a break. How you think is how you feel. Have an attitude of gratitude. I know it all sounds very cliche, but it pulled me out of the deepest of dark holes. No shortcuts. You can't heal what you can't feel. Can't go under it, over it, round it. Gotta go through it. Drop baggage that's not yours. The accepting, not expecting. Just put on a half smile. It's hard for it not to grow. Trying my best, I guess. I try to be someone I wouldn't hate, so I look at qualities in people I don't like and actively remind myself to not do it. I don't like cruel people, so I work at being kind. I don't like selfish people. I work on giving more, etc. I'm not perfect, obviously, but I'm trying my best and I have pretty great people around me, so something's got to be working. I cut myself slack when I'm not up to my own standards and practice self-disappointment rather than self-loathing when I fuck up. Okay, but seriously, therapy, we're all a mix of good stuff, bad stuff, good decisions, bad decisions. We all screw up. But however badly you screwed up, you've still got the potential to be good. You can still make good choices going forward. You can still do good things going forward. And you can still make a positive difference in the lives of people around you. Even if you've burned some bridges that aren't fixable, you can build new bridges with new people and work hard towards continuous improvement. I think about the privilege I have to become someone I might tolerate. What is to hate about me? My appearance, my mind. I still hate myself. But I love life. There are numerous people who never had the chance to live a decent life. I'm free. I'm loved. Maybe that I have potential after all. Everything I endured doesn't exist anymore. Maybe that I hate myself. But I deserve a chance to feel comfortable in my own skin. My body and my brain are functional. I think it's enough to try. I'm old and like most people I've been victim to this kind of thinking, and I've learned that it is simple to break. Help others doesn't matter how. Check on an elderly neighbor, volunteer at a food bank, animal shelter, youth group, whatever floats your boat. The smallest acts of kindness can steer your thinking away from I'm horrible to I did make someone else's life better today, so perhaps not all horrible. Too much navel gazing and time alone leads to negative thoughts. I'm trying to figure that out. But it seems the answer is to constantly keep working on yourself. The things you hate you can change. Your past mistakes are always going to be there, and you have to learn to forgive yourself. Part of forgiving yourself is to apologize first. It's hard to forgive without an apology. My therapist had me write an apology, and I cried so hard. I've been far too mean to me. Man, I didn't deserve the abuse I put myself through. It's pretty easy for me these days. A big thing is to remind myself that I'm not perfect and no one else is either. As long as I try to be the best person that I can be, then it's okay. In my younger years, it started by listing good qualities about myself to myself. I'd also introspectively talk to myself to understand myself more and try to get to the bottom of why I at the time didn't like myself. That's the long story short version of it. Offer and who care for me in return. I know the good do in these people's lives, and I'm grateful for the good they do in mine, and it makes me thrive to always do more and get the best out of myself. I always had that in some way, but it took time to see it and appreciate it. I used to hold people accountable for not seeing how much I hated myself, which resulted in more detachment. Teen years were weird, okay? Became confident about a lot of things. So it started like it's okay, I'm really good at solving Rubik's Cubes when that's rare. So that's cool until it was a general yeah, I'm a cool person, I general. TLDR, gas yourself up on things you know are true. And eventually you won't even need to be good at that anymore to be confident. I wasted a lot of time on a girl whilst the entire time thinking I should respect myself more than this BS that I'm putting myself through. I also didn't listen to those thoughts, caused myself a lot more pain than all was worth, and then I learned to love myself by not doing that again. Long story short, break yourself down to the point where the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change. That's when change occurs. You wanna hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target, yeah. You're right, I talk too much. I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me and not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me. 'Cause I'm the real article. What you see is what you get. Weirdly, I have experienced all the low self-esteem and self-hating feelings that none exist to be felt by me. Something like how you fall so much that you reach the bottom, and there is nothing to do except climb back up. So after a lot of introspection, the only option left is to be comfortable with yourself, and that's how I am. At times I do hate myself, but the feeling doesn't extend for a long time. When you feel like everyone hates you, sleep. When you feel like you hate everyone, eat. When you feel like you hate yourself, shower. When I feel like I hate myself, I do things to help myself. I'll shower and bathe, but I'll make sure to brush my teeth because I want to do something caring for myself. I open windows because I would probably like that. Pretend you're a car and maintain yourself. Because my parents loved me in a way that taught me that I have inherent value just as I am. I do not have the heart to hate my parents' child. I had a hard childhood, grew up poor, experienced sexual assault as a child. Yet my friends who grew up in the comfortable middle class without any major trauma, that had cold or distant parents, struggle a lot more with feelings of self-worth than I do. By becoming someone I like, and intrusive thoughts of self-hate start kicking in. Those thoughts are immediately met with thoughts of, wait, I've done so much for my self-worth that hating myself doesn't make sense anymore. It took a lot of work, support, time, reflecting, accountability, failing, etc., but that uphill battle is so worth it.